to this session on relationship drivers. Wow. By this session, you should be able to understand the drivers of commercial relationships and determine the right type of relationship to adopt in every situation. So we talk about drivers of commercial relationships. They refer to the qualities or values which build relationships. When we say drivers, it means whatever elements of a relationship enhance the interactions in a business relationships. So this basically establish a relationship and can be termed as the foundation of the relationship. And some of the drivers include the quality of interactions, where in customer service, in customer relationships, it refers to the customer service encounters. That is the level of information exchange, the level of interaction between the business and then the customer, and how those interactions fulfill the customer's demands. Whether it's to live in a business and then the customer, and how those interactions fulfill the customer's demands. Whether it's to live in a positive impact or a negative impact on the customer. If all these things are appealing to the customer, it enhances their willingness to cooperate and collaborate in the relationship. Another driver of relationship refers to trust. That is the willingness to co-share in the relationship. And trust is very key in every relationship because it can make or break the relationship. And when there is trust in a relationship, it reduces the risk of doing business. That is the risk of the business or the commercial relationship collapsing. When there is trust, it means that businesses are, or actors in the business are willing to mutually exchange information and other resources in the business. Another driver in the relationship is transparency. That is the willingness to share information, and it's depicted in honesty and in about business practices and decisions, where customers seek information from the organization is willing to share that information. And whether the actors in the business are willing to be transparent or not depends on trust, because if they are not, there is no mutual understanding about the outcome of the relationship. There is no way one person is willing or is going to be willing to exchange information to the other party. And also transparency enables mutual understanding of both parties' needs, because when you exchange information, you're able to know what I want. And when businesses and customers exchange information, businesses are able to understand what customers need. Businesses are able to understand what customers need, and then customers are also able to get what they want from their business, because in essence communication has been enhanced. And it also facilitates collaboration, because when customers, or in the case of suppliers and the focal firm, when the focal firm exchanges information with the supplier would find a need to invest in the relationship, because in essence they would deem that the focal firm is willing to co-invest in the relationship, and hence reaping the benefits from the relationship is worthwhile. Commitment is also another key driver in a relationship, and it depicts the intention of both parties to continue in the relationship or invest resources in maintaining it. And for parties in a relationship to commit to the commercial relationship, it commands loyalty, compliance, and collaboration. So if there's these key three elements in a relationship, there is a likelihood for both parties to be committed to the outcome of the relationship, thereby co-investing and continuing in the commercial relationship. Another key driver of commercial relationship is collaboration and cooperation, and it's also the ability or the willingness of both parties to work together to add value to the relationship for mutual benefits. For there to be the outcome of a relationship as different from a transaction, both parties need to be cooperative and take on a collaborative orientation rather than an adversarial or competitive stance. If you take on an adversarial or competitive stance, you tend to leverage on the relationship, and in essence, the other party would also not be willing to co-invest or collaborate in the commercial relationship. Another key driver of relationship is mutuality, which is the exchange or reciprocity in a relationship, willingness to share in risk and benefits to a relationship. So relationships are not one-sided, they are a two-way affair where both parties, for instance, a supplier and a buyer, should be willing to share in the outcome of the relationship, whether good or bad. So if there is a loss, both parties need to share in the loss. Nobody has to apportion blame to the other party for not exercising due diligence or for not exercising or for not doing what was right. Mutuality, and an advantage of mutuality is that it helps to avoid exploiting by any of the parties, where one party is not capitalizing on the weakness of the other party, but both parties are complementing each other in their relationship. So these were some of the drivers of a relationship. And in determining what kind of relationship to adopt, there is no single best relationship in commercial relationship because relationships vary on a spectrum. There is the relationship spectrum where each relationship depends on the type of exchanges or the type of or the level of interaction between the parties. And organizations can determine the right type of relationship to adopt using the nature of goods or the nature of exchanges that exist between them and the other party. So, for instance, the Kajik matrix can be used by buyers to determine the right type of relationship to adopt with their suppliers, where goods that are of high value to them determine the type of relationship that they need to interact or develop with their suppliers. So the project matrix, among other matrices, helps to determine the right type of relationship depending on the nature of purchases or the level of interaction between parties. So there is no one single best relationship to adopt, but the nature of relationship to adopt depends on the type of interaction or the type of goods or the type of the nature of purchases that the organization engages in with their supplier or with their customer. So in this session, we have learned about the drivers of commercial relationships, and we have also determined the right type of relationships to adopt. Thank you.